Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Legends of Sport podcast. I'm your host, Andy Bernstein. As we continue Season 7, we take you back to Las Vegas to USA Basketball's Olympic Showcase and the 50th anniversary of USA Basketball. We have two great guests for you this week. First one is Jerry Stackhouse, followed by the great Tamika Catchings. So stay tuned, sit back, and enjoy this episode with Jerry Stackhouse and Tamika Catchings. And as always, I'll see you on the backside. Well, welcome to the Legends of Sport podcast. The great Jerry Stackhouse, one of my favorite guys to shoot all those years, man. How many years in the NBA?
18.
18
years.
It's crazy. So a little bit of your history, right? You grew up in North Carolina, and you end up going to the University of North Carolina. Dean Smith is your coach. Tell me about that first recruiting trip that he made to your house.
Well, I think it was that was really what sealed the deal.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think honestly, the story was Michigan. Steve Fisher was there at the time. He came in that morning, and my mom had some donuts and some coffee and everything, and then Coach Smith was coming in later on that afternoon, and by the time he got to the door, I could smell pork chops, could smell cabbage and all of that. So, I didn't really think that she was really hip to what was going on, but obviously somebody had been in their ear of a no. But they really hit it off well. They were kind of the same age, but my parents were a little older. And just hard to tell him no, sitting in front of him and him asking me to come and be a part of that tradition and all the great players that had played for North Carolina. It wasn't that difficult of a choice.
Yeah, but that must have been just an incredible moment. Then you get to the draft in '95. You're the third pick?
Third pick in
by
95.
Philly?
Yep.
And what was that moment like? Because I'm always, I don't want to say surprised, but I just love seeing the reaction. Like, you're going to go top whatever, 5. I don't think you're going to fall to 5, but you're going to be a top pick. So that's a given. But when it actually happens and Commissioner Stern said your name, like, what was that like?
Yeah, it was a little funky, actually. You know what I'm saying? I think like you said, I knew. With Coach Smith, his relationships. I think Kevin McHale had. He was at Minnesota at 5, and he was like, if he's there at 5, I didn't even have to go work out. If he's there at 5, I'm taking him. So I knew I wasn't going to go any lower than 5. But I think. Hearing your name called and that moment and all your family there, but it felt a little funny because it wasn't in New York. Yeah. I've always watched the draft.
Yeah, where was it that year?
Toronto.
In Toronto.
Yeah.
I was actually there.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it was like we had the expansion teams, and then they had it in Toronto, but it was like all this time, growing up, he's like, you're going to, get your name called for David Stern in New York, and it wound up being in Toronto. So it was a little different, but I honestly made some lifelong friends that I met while I was there in Toronto for the draft. We're still really close now. So
right, full circle. You end up going back to Toronto, right? And you're coaching the G team, and you get Coach of the Year and all that stuff. So, this is what Phil Jackson would have called
circle,
it,
didn't it?
Yeah, that's a Phil Jackson moment right there.
No doubt.
So you're in Philly. You're playing with AI, right? Tell me about that experience playing with him as a teammate.
Well, yeah, it was a little difficult. We were both, and I think they kind of realized it later on that Allen was a scorer. Scorer was like me, and in my probably perfect world, I probably would have liked for Stephon Marbury, more of a distributing point guard. But Allen's a special talent. He's once in a life talent, and I think we both kind of really was able to grow our game once we. Went different ways. I went to Detroit and was able to really find my niche with Grant, and when Grant left, kind of had my own team there for a while. So, but no, Philly was good. It was just excitement of being there. A lot of turnover, a lot of change. I think I probably played with a record like 25 players my rookie year. Shuffling in and out,
goodness.
and then obviously coaching changes. Every year that I was there. So. I was looking, kind of happy for some stability and finally get to Detroit, and they fired Doug Collins, as soon as I could. So I had a lot of coaches early in my career.
Who came in after Doug?
Alvin took over.
Oh.
Alvin Gentry took over there, and I think that was his first head job, and obviously it worked out for him. Alvin's been able to stick around a long time, but no, it was great experiences. I was able to on the team with Joe Dumars and Grant Long, some guys that really knew how to be pros, and Rick Mahorn, guys that I learned a lot from during that time.
For sure. Talking about two crazy fan bases from Philly to Detroit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Insane.
Right?
I got baptized, real early. But no, it was like, but the fans were great. I mean, as long as you play hard and try to leave it out there like I did, I think they appreciated that. And obviously that was our motto when I was in Detroit, was going to work. So it was good times, and obviously probably had my best run. Once I got to Dallas and made a finals.
Right. Yes.
We had to. Ran into some Dwayne Wade action there, but no, it was a great run. One of my most memorable years. But that was that run to the finals.
That was a great final. What was it? 2012, 11? When was it? I don't even remember what year that was. I covered it, but
06.
It's 06. You're right. It's way back. Yes.
I try to forget it, but it still kind of comes back.
So you're 18 years old growing up, and the Dream Team is playing in Barcelona, right? So how tuned in were you to the Dream Team and what was going on? And here we're at Vegas celebrating the 50th anniversary of USA Basketball. All the greats are here, of course. But what was that like for you at that point in your life?
I think it was, obviously those were the guys that we all wanted to imitate. We all wanted to be. Michael was at the forefront of that, but there were so many great players that the bigs. I mean, everybody. It was just greatness. Throughout the court, and obviously we were going against other countries and still trying to prove our dominance and show the world that we're the best in the world. So I mean, I had a front row seat to that, and obviously took a lot from just watching those games and watching that type of talent. And we've obviously had a couple other dream teams, and I think this one here might be as exciting as anyone that we've had. I mean, we got Steph and LeBron, still doing it it's amazing what he's able to still be able to do at his age. And KD, it should be a lot of fun, man, to watch this group come together. And now the coach that I'm coaching with, watching him leading, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
So you're with the Warriors now.
Yeah, I'm with the Warriors.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a little bit different without Klay there, of course, but Steve has been able to adapt every step of the way on his coaching journey, as he did as a player. And I wish you the best of luck there, man. That's going to be fun.
It, man. I'm really excited about it. I think it's a great fit. I haven't ever played or coached past Dallas, so it's going to be a little bit of a culture shock being in the Northwest. But but I'm looking forward to the challenge. I mean, obviously, I enjoyed visiting the Bay Area when I was a player and coaching, and now I'm getting the opportunity to live out there and coach. We're one of the best to ever do it, honestly, and so I'm excited to learn from him and obviously bring some things that I feel can help us on the defensive end to take another step. Yeah,
that's fantastic. Let's just talk about coaching really quick, because one of the greatest coaches of all time on pro or college level, Dean Smith. What you learned from him, you went into coaching. What did you bring from Coach Smith into coaching? Like, what philosophy, a couple of things that you really got from him?
Well, I just think one of the biggest things is keeping the ball out of the middle. I think that was just from a defensive standpoint, and obviously sharing the basketball. He was always big. I mean, I think he came up with the just the notion to point at your teammate whenever you got an assist and thing, and everybody still does that now. And I just think he was all about playing the game the right way. Definitely that is something that I've taken from him. Try to get more possessions than the other team, whether it's offensive rebounds or really turning it up on the defensive end. Even if you're not shooting it well or not having a great night, if you can have more possessions than the other team, then you got a good chance of winning. He was a math wizard for real. And
was he?
He was a math major. So I think those are some of the main things I got from him. But I've taken a lot from him. I played for a lot of coaches, and I was able to take a lot of things from a lot of them and kind of make it my own, and obviously been able to have some success with
Yeah. Was he tough? Like, was he like a tough coach?
I'm freshman.
Yeah.
Freshman. Yeah,
Okay.
he made it a little tough on us.
Gotcha.
I think, but
Yeah, he just wanted to season you a little bit.
Yeah, you know, I mean, but everybody went through it, and I think that was part of it. I mean,
Right.
just trying to kind of tear you down to build you up a little bit, and I think it's it worked. I'm happy whatever he decided to do as far as helping me learn the game of basketball and teaching me the game of basketball. I think it worked out pretty good.
It did work out pretty good. You had a great career, man, and best of luck in the coaching
Thank you.
side. Last thing I want to ask you, so your second year, right? A young guy comes out of high school from Lower Merion in Philadelphia, Kobe Bryant. I remember legendary matchups with you and Kobe. You know, what comes to mind? One or two, I don't know, little tidbits or little anecdotes about the young Mamba.
Yeah, I just think his tenacity, even as a young player.
Yeah.
I mean, he wanted to play. He wanted to compete. He wanted to play. I mean, obviously, he adored Michael Jordan.
Yes.
I mean, it was almost like an idol to him, and I think that obviously that rubs some of us the wrong way, honestly, just, for him to have the mannerisms and everything with Michael
With
Jordan.
the tongue and the whole thing.
All of that. But I just think he just continued to work. He continued to work and continued to get better. Got drafted into a great situation, going to one of the most storied franchise in the history of basketball, and was allowed to grow. And obviously once played for Dale Harris, I'm pretty sure. I mean, was a good coach. And then when they moved on to Phil Jackson, then they were able to just take it to another level. So, but I just think early on, man, I just like he loved basketball. He loved the work, putting in the extra work. I remember John Lucas used to have us out on the track. Before we even did anything on the basketball court, we were out running sprints on the track, and he was there, every morning. It sounds cliche-ish, but he was there early. He was there. He stayed late. He did all the things to become who he became.
Yeah, very cool. Well, listen, Jerry, thanks for stopping by, man. It's always good to see you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Great to see you.
Tamika Catchings, four-time Olympic gold medalist. Wow, on the Legends of Sport podcast. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You were a guest a few years ago. And it's wonderful to be here at this celebration of USA Basketball's 50th, right? I mean, four-time gold medalist. Okay, let's pick one.
Pick one. I don't even know which one to pick.
That has a memory that maybe you haven't talked about before.
Well, interestingly enough, I have been in the USA Basketball family for 20 years.
Ooh.
So I started with the junior team in 1996.
Wow.
And my last year was 2016. First year with the senior team was 2004.
4, yeah.
4, 8, 12, 16. Which one? So all of them are so different.
Yeah.
One of the things I always talk about is just the difference from the first one to the last one. Because the first one, I wanted to be an Olympian because of the people that I saw on the 96 Olympic team. Dawn, Cheryl, Lisa, who I know Lisa will be here.
Yes,
I hope that the other one
Dawn,
will be
we
here.
saw her in the hallway.
Okay,
she's here.
So one of the main reasons that I wanted to be an Olympian is watching them. And so to have that opportunity, 2002 for the World Championship team,
Right.
2004 for my first senior Olympic team moment, and a dream come true.
Yeah.
You had the opportunity before I came in here, ran into Tyrese Halliburton, his first time being an Olympian, and hopefully a gold medalist
Yes.
when we get done with this.
Knock on
But
wood.
knock on wood. Just the butterflies, the memories, the opportunities, everything that goes with it.
Yeah. Yeah, incredible.
I'm sweating just thinking about
I
it.
know. So 2004, the women's national team won the gold. The men did not, right? Which is kind of
We
interesting.
don't talk about that.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that. We just talk about the ones we win.
Right. But if you go to 92, the dream team won and the women did not. So I guess what goes around comes around, but I don't know.
Yeah,
If you look at it that way.
I think, when you look at even watching the draft this year, how many foreign players now are getting drafted earlier.
Crazy,
And I mean, just the change of, obviously American basketball, USA basketball is a lot different than it's been in the past. A lot of that with the way the college game is, the transfer portal, the NIL opportunities, and the growth of the game worldwide. And you're seeing it all over, even on the WNBA side.
Yeah.
When you look at the number of women from overseas that are playing in our WNBA league and having the opportunity to represent their country, it's just awesome.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about the WNBA for a second, because you were drafted in 2001 by the Fever. You played 15 seasons for one team, which in the WNBA is actually very unusual, I think.
Both. NBA, WNBA.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we could think of a few in the NBA, of course, Kobe and,
Reggie.
Tim Duncan, Reggie. But in the WNBA, because, teams folded and all kinds of stuff was going on, I mean, that's legendary. It really is. Good for you. It's incredible.
It's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
I love Indianapolis and still live there even after all this time. I retired in 2016 and made it my home. And, just really, I love the growth of the women's game, and especially this year, obviously with the addition, Caitlin Clark coming in.
Yeah.
Last year, Leah Boston, the year before that, and Alyssa Smith. And, every single year, you've just seen the game grow. So I love the city, and even with the organization. I mean, looking at both sides, the Fever and the Pacers, it's just been great.
That's been great. Yeah, it's great for me to see that resurgence. We were talking to, I think it was Sam Perkins earlier. I didn't even know played for the Pacers until we did some research. And, going to the finals in Indiana, it was like going to the birthplace of basketball. It really isn't the birthplace, but the way they take basketball so seriously over there, it's incredible.
It's a huge resurgence.
It is,
on the women's side. And going back to like what Sam said, I remember even my early days, because Reggie was still playing with the Pacers.
Right.
Isaiah Thomas was still on staff my first year. Those were the two players that I saw. Like, those were the two people that I saw the first time I walked into, at that time, Conseco Fieldhouse, now Gamebridge. The first two people that I saw.
Wow.
And go back then to where we are now, just on both sides, being able to watch the way that the city, the NBA All-Star game, being there this past off-season, but in February, people came out. People showed up. The city showed out, and it was great.
Yeah. Your dad, Harvey Catchings, was he an Olympian?
He was not.
Because I thought I saw him on the list, but I wasn't sure.
He'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
He'll be here tomorrow, so you guys make sure you give him some crap about not being an Olympian now.
I shot that at the beginning of my career, I actually photographed your dad.
That's awesome.
I'm like, how old could I possibly be?
Not very old. Not very old. You won't. Age is just a number. Don't worry about it.
So tell me about Caitlin Clark. I haven't met her. Of course, I've been watching her, and I'm cheering her on. I have 3 daughters, the whole thing. But she seems like an amazing young woman to me, and the pressure she's under is just monumental, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's been fun watching her from the college game to being able to see that translate and transition into the WNBA. One thing I was reading the other day, a lot of people saying she is the number one focus on everybody's game plan. And to have a rookie come in and have that impact, and what you just said, being able to handle it, you listen to her in the press conferences, see her in the games, the highs and lows of the game, which anybody has, no matter whether you're a rookie or 5-6 year veteran or beyond, you're gonna have those highs and lows. But I will say it's been fun watching her graciously handle herself and just take it all in stride. I know I was thinking about her earlier. I'm like, I know at some point you got to be like wide eyed, like just almost in awe of everything that has transpired in the last couple, 3 years, because, 2 years.
It's amazing.
Especially for her.
Yeah. I mean, they're moving games now. I mean, teams are moving games to bigger venues because the Fever are coming to town. It's pretty unbelievable.
Very much so.
I was there at the beginning with, the WNBA, the very first game between the Liberty and the Sparks, and Val Ackerman threw the ball up, and nobody knew at that point what was going to happen with the league, and it was David Stern's mandate that we're going to make this successful, and it's just incredible.
It's been fun watching. Yeah. I mean, starting with the late David Stern, and then Adam Silver taking that over. The NBA teams that were on board. Yeah, some of them that are still on board. Participating. Now you have the growth of the WNBA with new ownership coming, new teams that will soon be added to the W. So, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert doing a phenomenal job, just growing the game. And of course, it's the players, you know. I mean, we talk about Caitlin Clark, but of course, when you look at rookies, you can't not talk about Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso and, you know, even Kate Martin. We're in Vegas, so let's talk about, you know, Kate Martin sitting up in the stand and getting that opportunity.
Yeah, incredible. Hey, the last thing I want to ask you about is your broadcasting. So you've been doing this a while, and now you're going to be doing it more, I guess, right? What do you think?
I love it.
Yeah? What do you love about it?
If you would have asked me this 10 years ago while I was still playing, if I would ever consider broadcasting, there were two things I always said I would never do. I would never commentate, and I would never coach. And I got the call as soon as I retired to commentate, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I always said I would never commentate and I would never coach. Yeah. And I got stronghold, my arms strong-armed into trying it in 2017, January 2017. And Initially, I liked it. It was like, okay, this is great. Now 8 years in.
8 years.
What I love about it, I love interacting with the players. I love watching the game. I love that I don't have to do the play-by-play. I just have to be the analyst, and I can put in my little nuggets here and there. But, you know, it allows me an opportunity to stay around the game, and especially for the younger players, being able to build those relationships.
Yeah, people think it's easy. It's not easy.
Definitely not.
Not easy doing. I mean, I've been behind the camera my whole career. I love doing this, but it's not easy. There's a lot of prep. You have to do your prep. Even as the analyst, you know, the play-by-play person has to know everything and the numbers and all that stuff. But you have to interject when you're expected to and know what you're talking about. And so as a true legend of the game, you know, it takes a lot to prepare, like as you were a player, same thing, right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. You know, you definitely don't just show up and think that you're going to be good or even great at it, you know, and I think
except if you're Bill Walton, who just showed up and he was great anyway.
There was a couple of guys that I think just showed up and did the analyst job, but, you know, I think what I love is I do like that prep work, and now, I mean, it's funny, I'm like, if I would have watched as much film as I watch now when I was playing, I might have been a better player. You never know.
Well, we'll end on that note, but you're a phenomenal player. I totally enjoyed photographing you when you played. You've been a great friend to the Legends of Sport podcast. Thanks again for coming back on.
Thanks for having me. I hope I get a shirt this time.
Oh, you get a shirt and a hat.
Woo! Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this episode of the Legends of Sport podcast. I want to thank my terrific producer, Carlin Barker, our great engineer, Sean Gosser, and our wonderful crew led by Addison Shao and Will Allen. Special thanks to everyone at USA Basketball, and extra special thanks to Julio and Charlie for getting us some terrific guests while we were in Las Vegas. Big thanks to our friends at Fujifilm and Momento for providing really fun on-site photography. Thank you, guys. Folks, keep following us and keep subscribing to our YouTube channel, and tell all your friends to follow us on Instagram at Legends of Sport. See you all next time.